This is John Coley with GrowingYourGreens.com. Today I have a very special episode for you. We're here in the Mojave Desert on the border of Arizona and Nevada. And I mean, this is the desert. And check out, behind me you can see the standard person's backyard. And this is how most people deal with the desert. They might have a few palm trees, like 2 palm trees, and they got gravel filling their whole lot. Now, man, that is an entire and a lot of space that you could grow lots of food on. And most people will do this for the low maintenance, but you could do that for the low maintenance, but you could also do this, what we have here in this backyard. So they have a whole bunch of fruit trees. This is the mini orchard section here going in. They got planting a few trees at a time. Against the back fence, they got grapes and even more fruit trees. And here's some rare pomegranates over here. And they have all these raised beds too. And we're going to go talk with Ronnie. He's been gardening in the Mojave Desert for over 20 years. I'd consider him an expert in growing here because he's been doing it successfully for a long time. So he has some techniques that he's going to share with you today so that you too can be successful growing in the Mojave Desert or any other desert around the world. So now we're here with Ronnie and we're sitting in front of one of his actually 4 raised beds, and you can see he has this kind of galvanized fencing material over the top with some wood. And so we're going to ask him more about why he has this. And but before I even get into that, it's now is the time to plant your seeds and your starts in southern Nevada, whether you're in Vegas or the Mojave Desert or probably even Arizona. Definitely now's the time. It's cooled down a little bit and you can get away with planting your winter crops or your fall crops like they're doing here. So Ronnie, tell me more about what this is and why you're using it.
Okay, John, what we got going on here is I've got some really inexpensive galvanized fencing, and you can get this at any hardware store, very inexpensive. And after we've planted all our seeds, what we'll do is we'll just put this over the top of our raised bed and just put something to hold it down, and this will keep the cats out of our garden because they'll come in here at night when we're sleeping and they'll dig up and they'll do their business and they'll just ruin everything. And also birds don't like flying under here. Sometimes you'll get little baby birds, but usually they'll stay out of here, so it really comes in handy. And then it has a dual purpose because what I do is I take the same little piece of fencing and I make a little arch like this, and then in the summer I can shade everything with some shade cloth because it gets so hot here. The ground temperature on these plants in the summertime, this ground temperature will be upwards of 125 degrees. So you got to keep them shaded or your plants are only going to last a few days. But with just a little bit of shade cloth, I can keep stuff growing out here literally all summer. And this is a fall garden, so what I'll do is instead of shade, when it starts to get really cool in about another month, because we do get a winter here, the desert gets really cold at night and warm during the day in the winter, I'll put some sheets over here, and those sheets will trap the heat in here and the plants will do fine. These are collard greens coming up here now, and I'll have these collard greens. My wife and I will be eating fresh collard greens for wraps and salads every day. They'll be coming up here probably in about another 10 days to 2 weeks. We'll be eating them, and then we'll be eating them for the next 3 to 4 months every day, just coming out here picking them free. And this is kind of what I've learned, the least expensive way and the way that seems to work the best out here in the desert, whether it's the cold winter desert or the extreme hot summer desert. This little system works fine for me. By the way, I've got this bed going down about a foot, so by being in the ground like that, it keeps a constant temperature. So as long as I just deal with the above ground temperature with the sheeting or the shade cloth, the plants will do just fine. These are mostly greens over here. This will be some bok choy, some lettuce, collard greens, greens like that. Over here we've got some zucchini that's just about to come up. Over here is some other kind of Vietnamese vegetables that Min has. We plant them now because if you planted the seeds any earlier than this, they would get fried and the baby plants won't be able to make it. We just ended our summer garden and cleaned everything out about 2 weeks ago. And so there's about a month period between the summer garden and the winter garden where we don't get anything, but we still get the fun of growing everything and waiting for it to come up. And then we've got grape leaves. We grow the grapes, and these grapes leaves are so fantastic to eat. and I'll literally have these for 6 months of the year. I'll take a grape leaf every morning, put a date in there and a couple almonds, roll it up, and you've got fresh, fast, raw, organic food that is some of the greatest food in the world. These grape leaves, by the way, I've researched this. Roman armies, when they would go out on their expeditions, sometimes they would go hundreds and thousands of miles. They mapped and they followed the vineyards because they know that their soldiers could go out there, eat these grape leaves while they're on their marches. It was free, it was fast, it was easy, and it gives them super nourishment because when you just pick something off the plant like this and you eat it, it doesn't get any fresher than that, and that's when you really get those living enzymes and all the good stuff that's in these plants. So, and this grape leaf, this is a Thompson grape. I think I might have paid $3 for the original grape vine. They grow so prolifically out here in the desert, you literally can't kill these things. They don't require any attention, any special vitamins or minerals or anything. I just give them a little bit of water. Of course, when I initially planted them, I put some rock dust in there and some organic compost and minerals. But once they get going, they don't require any kind of work or attention. And we've already eaten the grapes. The grapes are gone, but we'll have these grape leaves for probably another month. And I've been eating grape leaves for almost 4 months now, fresh every day. That they are super nourishing, and they do have a lot of things, a lot of nutrients in there that you don't get out of some other plants. Vining plants have different nutrients than plants that are going to grow in the ground or trees in an orchard. Every different category of plants usually offers some kind of different mineral, and grape leaves definitely have powerful stuff inside there.
So do you have to get a specific variety of grapes so that you can eat the leaves, or can you eat the leaves off any kind of grapes? And do some leaves taste better than others, do you know?
Absolutely. You can't eat all of them. You want ones that are green on both sides. Some grape leaves that you'll find up in the Northwest, they'll be green on one side, then you turn them over and they're kind of like white on the other side. You want what we call greenbacks, green on the front and green on the back. I've tried different varieties. These are called Thompson seedless, but they're not seedless. They do have seeds, so I don't grow seedless fruit. But they're called Thompson seedless because the seeds are so small. But these are delicious, and especially if you wrap them in something. You could just cut them up and put them in your salads, but you know, Greek dolmas, you can go back in recorded history 3,000 years and you'll hear about people eating raw grape leaves. Greek dolmas have been in their culture and their food for thousands of years. You go into a Greek restaurant today and you'll get dolmas, but they'll be using cooked grape leaves. We eat them raw. Now here's another plant that really does well out in the desert. This is a pomegranate. And you can see here's one. These will be ready in about maybe 3 to 4 weeks. This is a Bulgarian. And what that means is you can eat every part of the fruit except for the hard outer shell. Some pomegranates, you can just juice them and get the juice out of the seeds and spit out the seeds, and you can't eat the flesh. But these Bulgarian pomegranates, you can eat every single bit of it except for the hard outside shell. And these grow so prolific in the desert, they're kind of like the grapes. You cannot kill these things. I literally do nothing to them except I've got a little drip system under here. A little drip system under there that gives them a little bit of water every day. It's hooked up to my sprinkler system, so it comes on the timer every morning, gives them some water, and that's it. I don't give them any special anything. They love neglect. And pomegranates are another one of those foods like grapes that you'll find references. If you read the Bible, pomegranates were one of the first fruits ever mentioned in any writings in the Bible. In Chinese literature, pomegranates are one of the first foods that's mentioned in any writings by human beings. So when I see these things grow, when I hold one of these things in my hand, it's like I'm going back in history. And I'm thinking that 3,000 years ago, this is what they ate. This is what they lived on. And Min and I, we juice them, we eat them, we love them. And this tree is literally, this is the 3rd year. And I think right now there's probably 20 big pomegranates that are going to be coming off of this tree, but I have some at our farm that we have 7 different varieties of the pomegranates, and we have some that literally you'll get 200 to 300 pomegranates off of one tree. And again, when you think about something that requires no work, that gives you so much, it also gives you beauty. This thing is a beautiful flowering plant before it sends out the fruit. It'll flower for about a month, and look at it every day. It's great to look at. It's just a great plant to have in the desert.
So now we're in another area of Ronnie's garden off their sunroom, and they have a little area, a little raised bed area against the sunroom. And besides growing in a raised bed next to the sunroom, they're also grown in pots. So we're going to talk about two important crops that they grow here that they actually like a lot. So we'll let Ronnie talk more about it.
Well, one of the things that we really like growing is aloe vera. And I don't know how many different types we have growing here. I've got one back here, a Japanese aloe vera that John, you gave me at your place about a year ago. And this one is totally edible. You can eat the skin, you can eat all of it. This aloe vera here is another variety. And what we do with it is we make a juice. Min will skin the aloe vera, make some orange juice, then take the meat from the aloe vera, mix it with the orange juice in a blender, and you've got like an orange Julius, a fizzy, raw aloe vera orange Julius type of a drink, and it's fantastic. And we'll drink that once a week. And sometimes I'll just chop up some aloe vera and throw it in a salad or whatever, little bits and pieces. Aloe vera is very great for you. It tastes good. It grows prolific without having to do anything to it. We really like finding those things that take the least amount of work out here in the desert because, for one thing, there's only a small window of opportunity in the summer to work out in the desert. Once it gets past about 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning in the heat of the summer, it's too hot to work out here. Everything needs to be shaded. But things like aloe vera, they just do fine by themselves. This, I guess it's a vegetable. I've heard it called Chinese chives, and I think it's a member of the chive family. But Min actually brought these in, smuggled them in on an airplane about 15 years ago for her garden in California. In Vietnam, every house just about has these growing alongside their house or in a garden somewhere. It's called ha, and it's written H-E in Vietnamese, just like you would say he, but it's pronounced ha. And it's kind of like a chive. It grows like grass. You can just clip it, and it'll just keep on growing and growing literally forever. I've got some back here that's gone to seed. And once it's gone to seed, you can't keep cutting it and it won't keep growing back, but you can plant the seeds. So Min grows a few and lets them go to seed so she can give those to friends so they can take them home and start growing their own. But this stuff is so fantastic in salads and in wraps. You can put it in anything and it tastes good. And we usually let it hang out at the end of a wrap so you got the visual effect of it also. But this is another example of what I would call a real superfood because it's super easy to grow. It's super prolific. Once you plant it, you can literally grow it for years and years and years, and it works well in almost any raw recipe. This stuff is great. I suppose you could cook it and put it in stir fries and things like that, but since Min and I don't cook anything, we just eat it raw. But you can eat it right out of the garden like that, and it's great. It has such a wonderful taste. It's a member of the chive family, but it doesn't taste like an onion. It doesn't taste like a chive. It's a little sweeter. The texture is nice. And again, look at what we get here in the desert with almost no care. And you can see, John, here again, we've got the protection from the cats. Because if I didn't have this fencing in here, none of these plants would be in here. A cat would get in here at night, dig up everything, and leave with a smile, and I'd have no food left. So we've got the fencing in there for the cats. I've got my little drip emitters all over here that I use to water wherever I need it. And the thing that I like about the drip emitters is that I'll come out here and I'll see a dry spot, and then I'll know I got to move the emitter over here. It's not getting enough water, or put in another emitter. It's so inexpensive and easy to do and fun.
So I hope you enjoyed this episode learning more about what is growing on here in the Mojave Desert. Once again, you can be like over here and you could grow pebbles or have rocks in your backyard, which I believe is a terrible waste of space. I mean, why not grow something in that space, even things that are going to grow easily without much care, like a fruit orchard, grow pomegranate trees, grow fig trees, literally plant the trees, put some water on them, and you're going to have a fruit orchard instead of just plain rocks. I mean, after all, that is what Ronnie and Min have done here in their amazing backyard garden in the Mojave Desert. Would you guys like to say anything else?
I'd just like to say thanks, John. Thanks to all your viewers for giving us a chance to show and share our gardening tips or methods with you. And whatever you do, enjoy your garden. Find some way to get outside and have some fun and keep on growing.
Once again, this is John Kohler with GrowingYourGreens.com. And remember, keep on growing.